Okay, so you want to ask a question because something is not working, you're having a kind of like mistake that is given while you're compiling your file, and you don't know what to do. So no problem, the LaTeX community has a website that is called Stack Exchange in tex.stackexchange, and it's this one. And what it is basically, everybody who have a question about something that is happening with their LaTeX, or they want to do something and they don't know how to do it, they will ask here. You just go up here. Okay, first see if you find the answer. So because there are so many questions already, you might just ask a question like how to insert a label, for example. You know how to do that, but let's see. And how to insert a non-illustration but line break in thin space. No, it doesn't look like. Insert a reference in a caption. Oh, maybe that will be good. Or how to insert a figure in tick poster. No idea what tick poster is. So let's go for the simple one. Insert a reference in a caption. So what you do first is you read the question, and if you see the question, it has a text where it's explained what you want to achieve, and the most important part is you write a text that it says what you have already tried to do in your code. Now the questions have to be able to reproduce what your problem is, if it's an error or what you really have tried. And so in this case, for example, this question is not well formulated based on the guidelines that are in the website already for questions. So let's see the guidelines. So if you say, let's say you did not find the question, then you ask a question. You go to the ask a question, a public question. Then you will have a title and a body. But if you've never done it before, I will strongly recommend you to go to this link on the side that says how to ask a good question here. And here they will explain to you how it is or what it is a good question, because that way you will improve your chances of getting some answers. What I told you before, search and research, look that there's already an answer that might be fitting to your question. Be specific, stay on a topic, don't go all over the place, and make it relevant to others. So it says here, we like to help as many people at a time as we can. Make it clear how your question is relevant to more people than just you, and more of us will be interested in your question and will be willing to look into it. Why? Because if you're asking how do I insert my figure A in the second paragraph or something, I mean, that's so specific, it makes no sense to ask it. You need to ask something, or you need to have a kind of like challenge. A challenge that maybe somebody has not have, and they just like the challenge, I suppose. But and this is only if you have not found a possible answer to your question. And then it says keep an open mind. But basically, okay, so what exactly means a good question? It has to be, if it's an error, which I've been using it for, it has to be reproducible. And my first question was not the brightest, so that's why I'm telling you what else you have to do. So I'm not going to post it, but I want you to know how a question should be. You see here that they will, based on the title that you add, there will be some answers or some similar questions in case that you missed the first time that you look for it. it doesn't seem like somebody has posted that question, so I can keep going. Then I go to the body. First, describe the error. And not only describe it, but write it as well. So then you have to put like the minimum part of a document that will reproduce the error. And how do you write the minimum part? So remember that a LaTeX document has a preamble and the document. So let's say that, remember what I showed you last time, that if you don't, like if you have in your document as draft, I will not show you the links with the format that you told it. Like we wrote, we want the links to have a color blue and not these horrible boxes that they were shown in the beginning. So in that case, I will have to write it like a code so that people can reproduce it. So I write the first part. So it says here how to create the code fences for my code. Good. So we follow the indications. These are the back ticks. And we write, so from the preamble, we know that we always have to start with document class. And we know that right now we know that the failure was that it was draft, but let's pretend we don't know it. So we write here what we had before, 11 point, A4 paper, I think it's A4 paper, and we have draft, yeah, for a book. That's our preamble, and what we were doing is using the package and we know that the problem was in the document, so we'll begin. So now we close with the backticks, and in theory that's our code. So our questions are, this is the text and this is the code, and what we have added is kind of like the minimum where we will see what the problem is. And because we know that the draft makes it this URL with the hyperref, we forgot something. We forgot the specifications. And by using draft, this thing will look dark. Yeah, so we said, okay, that's what we have seen, and can somebody help us? So that will be kind of like the minimum that you should write, and then we have to fit this here. This is give it as much as specific as possible to the problem. Hyperref here, that's to turn it off. Maybe that will be, or no external links in the hyperref. How to manage them? How can I make the pages fancier? Yeah, I know that question is somewhere, and you will have to look a little bit. Sometimes Google can search better within the text system, but yeah, basically that's how you want to ask your questions, because if there is an error that you are reproducing all the time, people should be able to reproduce it. So you have, let's go again over it. You have the preamble with the minimum that you need for your preamble, and then you have your document with the characteristics that you are trying to solve. I'm not going to post it because I I think the community will really upset about me posting, but there are different things that you can use to complement your questions. Not only the code that everybody can reproduce in their LaTeX, the same error that you're having, but as well if you have images, you can add links of things that you already tried and it did not seem to work. List I've never used. Block quotes is only, I think, if you are quoting somebody else or some other question. And yeah, and the rest I've never tried. So yeah, you can just look around and see what exactly it is. If you have like ideas or you want to make sure that you know what you're asking for or how to ask, you can just go to the text site and look at some of the easy questions, or you can use a tag to find, for example, a hyperref, yeah, which it will be here, all those that are using the hyperref tag. Yeah, that's basically, you have now all the tools that you will need to keep writing your thesis. I will show you next time a couple of packages that are I will show you next time a couple of packages that I found that are for biologists to integrate in your thesis. And if you're working with sequences or with proteins, they might be helpful and will make your thesis even more interesting and aesthetically pleasing and very informative. That's about it. So I hope you have a nice day, and I hope I'll see you next time when we will be dealing with some of the packages that I found for biologists. Okay, bye bye.